If you're a dental hygiene student in oral biology, this video is for you. Today we're going to be talking about dentin. Dentin works in two phases, primary and secondary. But where does it come from? So during tooth development, the dental papilla has two layers. The outer layer, dentin, the inner layer becomes pulp. So dentin and pulp are basically besties for life. They grow and function together. Dentin is 70% inorganic, which is calcium hydroxyapatite, 20% organic, mostly collagen, and 10% water. Mineralization begins during the apposition and maturation stage. That's during the bell stages of tooth development. Now the layers of dentin. We have the mantle dentin. That's the first layer, a thin border around the DEJ where the enamel meets the dentin. And the DCJ is the dentin-cementum junction. Cementum meets dentin. It's the oldest dentin, but it's also the least mineralized. Below is a Tomes layer, where odontoblasts line up. Those are the dentin-forming cells. Then we have the circumpulpal dentin. This is the bulk of the dentin that surrounds the pulp. This is where most of the primary and secondary phases happen. We have globular dentin and interglobular dentin. Globular dentin is properly mineralized. It makes up the strong bulk. Interglobular dentin, you can kind of think about as incomplete dentin. Darker areas that didn't mineralize completely. That's found mostly near the coronal part of the dentin. So globular good, interglobular incomplete. Okay, now primary, secondary, and tertiary dentin. Primary dentin, that forms before root completion, makes up most of the root structure. Secondary dentin forms after the apical foramen, and it slowly continues throughout life. Then we have tertiary dentin. This forms in response to trauma, like abrasion, attrition, or caries. Basically your tooth's emergency backup plan. Now we have dentin tubules, tiny tube running from the DEJ, DCJ to the pulp. They carry fluid through the odontoblastic process and nerve fibers, afferent axons. And there's two main types. Peritubular dentin that lines the walls of each tubule. Then we have intertubule dentin. That's the space in between them. That's why exposed dentin equals sensitivity. These tubules are basically open nerve highways. Growth lines. Imbrication lines, they are daily growth patterns, kind of like enamel's line of Ritzies. Then we have contour lines of Owen. These represent trauma or metabolic stress, kind of like tetracycline staining. Think of them as dentin scars. Scars, cars, Lightning McQueen, Owen Wilson. That's how my brain works. Anyways, dentin forms first, keeps growing forever, and reacts when it's under attack. Enamel protects it, but dentin feels it. Once you picture how the tubules and the layers work, it's not that hard. You got this. I hope that helped. Have fun studying, and I'll see you later. Bye!